a wonderful thing about learning stuff by ear and not reading it is that.
Hey, g'day guys, Nigel here from Sax School. Well, in today's session I want to talk a little bit about playing by ear and transcribing by ear, and why sometimes it's better to play by ear and transcribe by ear than it is to use sheet music. And I know that's a question that a lot of sax players worry about or think about. Inside our Sax School community, it's definitely a question that I get asked quite a lot. So to help answer that question, I recorded a session recently with Michael Lington. Now, Michael is a fantastic saxophone player, great technician, but also hugely successful, one of the most successful commercial players around these days. He's had a load of really successful charting tracks and 10 albums as well. He's a great player and he's a really nice guy. So we recorded the session for Sax School where he talked about his career, about how he gets started, about the sort of things that he practices in order to keep his tone and his technique in tip-top shape. If you want to check out that full session, that's actually available inside the Sax School members area. And you can find out more about Sax School, which is what I do, at mcgillmusic.com. I'll put a link below. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lessons in there, and actually used by thousands of students all around the world every single day. And actually this guest session with Michael Lington is one of a series that I've done with a whole bunch of hugely successful players, top guys in their fields really. So that's all available inside Sax School. Anyway, this question about transcribing, we were talking about benefits of transcribing by ear or transcribing by writing things down. If you've never transcribed, by the way, check out my video on why sax players should be transcribing in their practice, because it's a super important thing for you to be doing. So Michael told me that he prefers to transcribe by ear, and I was asking him why is that, and this is what he had to say.
I feel the music sounds better when you learn it that way instead of reading it, because there's a different feeling to it. You're kind of, it's in you instead of you're just kind of glancing over it, and I don't know.
Yep.
That's just how I feel about it, you know. But
no, I get it.
That was my process. I wanted to feel it, and I tell you, some of those things that I learned back. This is the other wonderful thing about learning stuff by ear and not reading it, is that it'll never leave you. There are some things I learned in the late '80s that I could pull out my horn and play it almost to the note now. Now I couldn't have done that if I just read the music and never sort of absorbed it that way.
Yeah, really interesting stuff, and great to hear the way he thinks about this stuff. But I also want to know, what's his process? How does he actually approach transcribing things when you're trying to learn a new song? And also, how did Michael go about doing it right back at the start?
I would, listening to, in those days, it was vinyl albums, you know. I would listen and emulate. And, you know, it was really hard to go back 10 seconds because you had to lift the needle and go back, you know, 2 grooves. But I would just listen to the stuff over and over again and emulate, basically, as much as I could, you know. There's another added, you know, element to that, is when you're in a live situation, you know. Now, if you're not looking down at a piece of music, you can now observe and be more of a part and more interact with everybody else on that stage, because you're not locked into going, what's the next section? What are my notes? You're feeling it, so now you can look. And I always feel that that's some real magic can happen that way, because now you're a little more in tune with what's actually happening in the moment, more than worrying about playing the right notes or what the next page would look like, you know.
Wow, some really great points in there. I love that whole thing that Michael was saying about when not using the music, he can really connect with the other musicians on the bandstand. That's such an important point. And if you're new to going out and gigging, maybe if that's playing with a band, but it could also just be at a jam session, or even just getting together with some mates and playing through some tunes, like a lot of Sax School members do actually, then it's an important reminder to think about that, to think about connecting with the musicians. That's really what it's all about. And Michael Lington is a legend at that, because you see him when he's performing live, everybody is connecting on stage, and that's why the music works so well. So I hope you enjoyed that session. Don't forget, if you want to check the whole session out, which is just packed with great information about his career, about his approach to practicing and things he's working on right now to maintain his technique. That stuff's really interesting to me. But also his journey right from the start, and how he came from Copenhagen to America and then built this amazing and successful career. All that stuff's super important and interesting for us to learn. So you can Get access to the entire guest session inside Sax School as a member, plus our full range of other guest sessions, hundreds and hundreds of lessons, our full range of courses, and also you get to connect with over 10,000 other students from all around the world. So that's all over at mcgillmusic.com. So whatever you're up to now, keep practicing hard. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Click that bell icon and let me know in a comment if you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.